Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle here again, questioning the mystery of time. This mysterious thing we seem to attribute to being another dimension, of which the other three dimensions travel through. The other three dimensions, up, down, left, right, forward, and backwards, right? The three dimensions of our experienced reality. And that space in which we experience reality, deemed the fourth dimension of time. I think it's pretty close, but it's missing some things. Because the very idea of a dimension, it should be universal. Time seems to be experienced differently dependent on the perspective you take of it. Einstein's theory of relativity. Time is relative dependent on your point of view. Here on Earth, we measure time of day by our planetary rotation. We measure our calendars, our days, weeks, months, and years based off of our planetary rotation around our star. But what about Mars? What about all these other planets? Their time is different, lengths of rotations, and they have different lengths of time around the star. If you were to live on these other planets, would you have a different experience of time, being that it is measured differently? And that's the key word, measured. Right? Time is not a dimension, it is a unit of measurement of our experiences. Right? Time is a construct of mind to help organize our experiences of the past to help make better choices into the future. The lifespan of a human being, the average lifespan being whatever, 85 years or so. And so we have our own experience of time, but then you take other biological forms, a dog, a cat, an insect, a bird, all of which tend to be less amount of time. Again, biological time gets a little bit more complex because it also takes into account, right, the tools or capacity of the individual self to reflect upon its time. Right? Humans are self-aware and self-conscious and can reflect much more differently than a dog or a cat who still has memory, but they can't reflect upon that memory. And that's different from an insect who may not have memory, but they all experience time differently. So a dimension should be universal, and therefore time itself cannot be a dimension. It is just a unit of measurement to organize experience. Taking this into account, one has to question how their past influences, their past sense of self, and if that's still influencing their present circumstances. If you grew up in a certain way, being told certain things or experiencing certain traumas that have their effect now here in the present moment and affect any situation that may present themselves because it reminds you of a experience of the past that you may not have liked, and so it automatically deters you from doing anything with that situation. And I think this helps people make better reflective choices by realizing that time is a construct of mind, and that the present moment doesn't necessarily end, right? In death, death is experienced with this body, right? It is the end of this biological vessel of which allows your conscious self or your awareness to experience things, to grow and learn. There's many that think that time does not end with the body. It continues on into the next vessel, right? If you have a car and it breaks down and it's no longer, it starts having issues, it doesn't run so good anymore, and it just goes kaput one day. It's not the end of things, you just get a new car, right? Because you need to still experience things, you still need to go about your growth and your work. So you just get a new car and continue on. Seeing that, embodying that, this new sense of time, this new perspective of time, may help you to realize that this identity is too a construct of this lifetime, right? Based off of your past experiences, you've developed this identity of self, of who you think you are, and time and experience are just here to help you perfect that self. Or another way of putting it is to more embody that true self of which you are, right? Going about experiences, oh, I don't like that. Why don't you like it? Is it because of it conjures up your feelings of failure or feelings of inadequacy or your feelings of incapability? Or is it just legitimately that's not something you enjoy and so you don't wish to invest time into it? By experiencing new things, you discover more of who you are and what you really like, and you progress forward, right? Always uncovering that truth of self, wishing to be expressed into the world, right? Which can go into a whole nother video of what is the self, who am I, and what am I? But stick to the point, Kyle. You go off on too many tangents. So, I don't know, maybe that doesn't make any sense, but it's something that tickles my fancy, so I like to share ideas. And if you have your own inputs that were not mentioned here and your own theories, feel free to share it down in the comments. I like to grow and learn and discover new points of perspective, right? Because ultimate understanding only comes about through a multitude of perspectives. You need to see things from all points of view to have a better clarity of what that thing is. So, yes, share your ideas. What is time to you? With that, much love, and see you all next time.